Hello children, today we are going to start the fifth act of The Tempest. Act 5, Scene 1. This scene opens before Prospero's cell. Enter Prospero in his magic robes and Ariel. So Prospero enters in his magic robes with Ariel. Prospero, now does my project gather to a head? What is the project here? Undertaking, his plans. He says, my plans are almost at their climax. My charms crack not, my spells are working well, my spirits obey, my spirits are obeying me, and time goes upright with his carriage. And everything is going right on schedule. How's the day? What time is it? Ariel tells him, on the sixth hour, it's 6 o'clock, my lord. At which time, my lord, you said our work should cease. When you said our work would be over, our work would be finished. Prospero, I did say so when first I raised the tempest. That's what I said when I first conjured the tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers? Tell me, spirit, how is the king and his followers? Ariel, confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them, all imprisoned in the grove of linden trees that protects your room, that protects your cell from bad weather. They all are like prisoners. This is what he says here. All prisoners, sir, in the lime grove, which weather fends your cell. This is what I just said. They all are imprisoned in the grove of linden trees that protects your room from bad weather. And they cannot budge till you release. They cannot move till you release them. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them. He says he's telling his master, he's telling Prospero, that the king, his brother, your brother, they all are waiting there in a crazed state of mind, and the rest are mourning over them, and the rest are grieving over them. Brimful of sorrow and dismay. All are sad, all are astonished. But chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo, his tears run down his beard. Good old Lord Gonzalo, as you call him, is saddest of all, with tears running down his beard. The winter's drops from eaves of reeds, as winter's rain flow down the thatched roofs. Your charm so strongly works them that if you now behold them, your affections would become render. He says, your magic spell has such an effect on them that if you saw them now, you would feel sorry for them. Prospero, dost thou think so, spirit? Do you think so, spirit? Ariel says, mine would, sir, were I a human. He says, I would feel sorry for them if I were human. So Prospero says, and mine shall. I will too. Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself? You are made of air. So if even you feel sorry for them, imagine the pity that I will feel being one of their own human race. One of the kind that relish all as sharply, passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art. He says, I suffer pain just as much as they do. Why? Because he says, I am one of their own human race. So I'll sympathize far more than you. Though which their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason gainst my fury do I take part. He says, though I am indignant about their evil deeds, I will go with my nobler instincts. I will go with my nobler instincts, which tell me to feel some compassion for them, which tells me to feel some pity for them. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. He says it's better to act virtuously rather than revengefully. They being penitent, penitent means repentant. The sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. He says, now they are sorry, I don't want anything more. Go release them, Ariel. He says, just release them, Ariel. My charm I'll break all my spells. Their senses I'll restore, and I will help them to come back to their senses, and they shall be themselves, and they will feel like themselves again. Ariel says, okay, I'll fetch them, sir, and he exits. I will go and get them here, sir. And Ariel exits. Prospero draws a large circle with his staff, and he says, ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes and groves. Elves are spirits. He says, I have darkened the noontime sun with the aid of you, with the help of you, elves, spirits, who live in the hills, who live in the brooks and groves. And ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune. Ebbing Neptune means retreating god of the sea, ebbing tide in the sea. He says, do chase the ebbing Neptune and do fly him when he comes back. And you who chase the sea on the beach without leaving footprints in the sand and run away when the waves come back. You demi-puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew. What is the curfew? Evening bell. Alright. And demi-puppets are small, tiny creatures. So he says here, and you who make toadstools while the moon shines, who make mushrooms as a hobby after the evening bell has rung, by whose aid, weak masters, though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun. Bedimmed means made dim. With your help, I have darkened the midday blazing sun, called up the angry winds, called forth the mutinous winds, called up the angry winds. And twixt the green sea and the azured vault, azured is bright blue, azured vault set roaring war, and set the green sea and the blue sky at war with each other. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. Rifted is split. He says, I have given lightning to the thunderbolts and burned up Jupiter's beloved oak with his own lightning bolts. The strong-based promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Spurs are roots, and promontory is high land that juts into the sea. He says, I have shaken up the sturdy cliffs and uprooted pines and cedars. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, orbed, and led them forth by my so potent art. I have opened up graves and awakened the corpses sleeping in them, letting them out with my potent art, with my powerful magic. But this rough magic I here abjure. Abjure means to give up, but to surrender. He says, but I surrender all this magic now, when I have summoned some heavenly music to cast a spell, which even now I do, as I am doing now. To work mine and upon their senses that this airy charm is for, to produce the effect I desire upon the senses of those whom I employ this charm wrought by the spirits of the air. I'll break my staff, bury it in certain fathoms in the earth. Fathoms is 6 feet. In measuring the depth of an ocean, the term fathom is used. He says, I'll break my staff and bury it far underground and deeper than did ever plummet sound. Now, what is a plummet? A weighted line used for measuring the depth of water. He says, I'll throw my book of magic spells deeper into the sea than any anchor ever sank. So this much is enough for today, children. We'll continue this act, we'll continue this scene in the next video. Thank you.